Weaving Wisdom presents the first ever South African Birthing Wisdom webinar. Meet me, Louina van der Vyver, and my colleague, Karen Stein, who will weave the wisdom of positive birth, collected from our experts and brought to you right here in the comfort of your own home.
I would like to introduce our speaker and one of my hypnobirthing colleagues, Theoni Papoutsis. Theoni, your work offers the opportunity to educate, support, and coach new parents through the different stages of their development in pregnancy. And can you tell us a bit more about your experience of the needs of these expectant parents at the different stages and the services that you offer in response?
Well, I mean, very much what you've said is that I like to journey with couples on their pregnancy journey, and I feel like it's vital that women and husbands also, and partners if it's not a husband, that they prepare. So it's about preparing physically, it's about preparing emotionally, it's about also preparing the relationship, because all of that is going to change with the birth of the baby. So I like to work with women physically, through the yoga, through the massage, but also emotionally, through if there's something that they need to release, whether it's a previous birth experience that they weren't happy with, or maybe they had a termination, you don't know, a loss of a baby, any of that can stand in the way of having a lovely healing birth the next time. So I like to work on all levels to really make sure that the couple is prepared for this new life that's coming.
How would you know when a person is sufficiently prepared for the birth?
They are confident, they are relaxed, they have it's an inner feeling that you can just tell when someone has done the work, when they've prepared, they've read enough but not too much, they've done relaxation enough but not too much, they haven't overthought things, so they come to a centered place. And that's what I also feel I give people, is not only confidence but a place to be able to be centered.
You have conducted numerous ceremonies for women and families, including weddings, blessing way ceremonies, naming ceremonies, end-of-life ceremonies, and the like. What constitutes ritual?
We do rituals every day, so ritual is part of our daily lives. But to mark something, so like a wedding, we're all familiar with weddings because a lot of people have had them or been at weddings, and it's about being witnessed by everyone. So when I do a blessing way, which is in pregnancy, usually towards the end of the pregnancy, we do a blessing way ceremony, and that helps a woman to really prepare. So she chooses who's there, and then I custom make the ceremony according to her needs. So if she, depending on the kind of person she is, if she's a person who enjoys touch, part of the ceremony would involve that people would massage her while there is music playing and she has her eyes closed. So she really learns how to receive the touch, receive the love and the support that these women are bringing her. And it's always kept positive as well. And we do different things, again, according to that mother. And I like to meet with either her mother or her best friend or her sister, whoever is her closest person, to be able to custom make that to the best of my ability. Then, of course, a baby blessing is lovely. And baby blessings you can do from, when the baby's a couple of weeks old, a couple of months old. And this last week I did one for a client who, her baby turned 1, and she likes to do it on her baby's first birthday. She did that for the first child, and now with her second child. So she incorporates it. The family comes to the birthday party, we do this lovely blessing, and then everyone comes to eat and be merry afterwards. So then, and again, it's custom made depending on what they want, what their needs are, and it can vary from. You'll see some of the pictures that that will be shown. A lot of the ceremonies we do a tree, so the couples choose a tree that represent their child. And then everybody at the ceremony gets an opportunity to tie a ribbon to the tree. So it's like you're putting your blessing onto the tree, and it falls off at its own time, and the message goes out into the universe. Yes.
So why do we have these rituals and ceremonies during pregnancy and birth?
I think it's so important, Ella said, to mark it, but it's also to draw on strength, drawing on courage, drawing on whatever it is a woman feels she needs. I find, you know, if we talk about a birth altar, you can do a pregnancy altar, you can do a birth altar, and that is really creating a space where you can invite and bring in elements that are supportive. So for myself, I did a birth altar, or a pregnancy altar rather, when I was wanting to get pregnant, and to really call on the spirit of my child, because I knew I wanted a baby, but I didn't know how it was going to come and when, and etc., and that I wanted to draw on that energy. So, and that for me was very supportive, and many clients have used it as well. At a birth, it's lovely to do an altar. You can have pictures of people maybe that have passed, maybe their mother has passed, someone isn't able to be there, so that it's a reminder that their energy is there and it's available to them. You know, they can have candles that people have given them. I've had women who've used, say they've done the comrades, or they've done some amazing other things in their lives, and they want a picture to remind them of, wow, look, this is what I've done, I can do this. So that gives them a lot of courage for the birth as well. Also what I did, part of one of the ceremonies or the rituals that I do, and I did for myself, is part of the Kundalini Yoga tradition, is that you, at 120 days after conception, they believe that the soul enters. And souls normally leave and enter between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning. So the tradition goes. So I was, you know, between 18 and 19 weeks pregnant, is usually, and it usually coincides with movement, which is quite amazing. That's when babies usually move, is when the soul enters. So, of course, me, crazy person that I am, I decided to do this, and 120 days, and I managed to get 8 people together, so I was quite impressed. And there we were at midnight, and we chanted for 3 hours, from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning, and we used 2 different Kundalini Yoga chants. The one is about feminine wisdom and feminine, calling on the feminine energy, and then another one is a healing one. So it was absolutely lovely, and we did this, and then I wasn't quite sure, you know, did the soul enter or not? Well, let's just do it the next night. So there was less of us the second night, but we did it anyway. But my son definitely arrived the first night, because it was amazing. I could feel it. I could feel my body was physically heavier. I could feel that he was then with us. So yeah, so that is an amazing thing. And obviously that's the way the Kundalini people do it, and obviously because that's part of my tradition, that's how I did it. But a lot of other women have done it differently. So you can, when you know it's the day, you can say a prayer, you can light a candle, you can commit to the child. The mother and father can sit together and go, wow, you know, we're bringing the soul. Yes, it's a person, but it has a soul, and it's coming into this world, and what do we commit to it, and what are we promising, and what are we going to do, and how are we going to be as parents, and how do we want to be? So it's also very much about, in the preparation, it's about preparing what kind of parent you want to be, and looking at, reflecting on your past. How was I parented? What did I like? What did I not like? What do I want to continue? So that we are more aware and conscious of what we are doing, that we're not just having babies, that we're actually making it an amazing experience for everyone.
When you talk about that, welcoming the soul in, I think for many moms, especially those who have suffered loss and miscarriage before this pregnancy, they're almost afraid to love their pregnancy, to be overly committed to this child in case they should lose it again, and to allow ourselves to go through a process like that. So I commit to you now, to whatever happens. This isn't necessarily an expectation that it has to turn out in a birth, but you are here now. And I honor this presence and this phase that I am going through for what it is in my life now. So powerful.
Wow, absolutely.
Well, please tell us more about some of the other rituals that you do.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so there's 120 days. Then, obviously, you know, at the birth, as I've mentioned, it's really wonderful to have things to be able to draw on and to really think about. So, the blessing way, I was just thinking, I did one not so long ago, and I've got another one coming up this month for a client of mine, and we're going to make her a birthing necklace, and it is around, and people have done it, and for her, it's just so wonderful to be able to make a birthing necklace that she can wear. So the birthing necklace is beautiful. I remember being at a VBAC at a birth, as a doula this year, March. And I was with a client who was having a VBAC, so it's a vaginal birth after cesarean. And she had her first labor had been very long, membranes had released before she started labor, it had been long, so there was a lot happening. So of course we did the work. She came to yoga, she had massage, we worked through the last, it was amazing. And so she called me in the morning to say, the wards are breaking again, the same as last time. So I said, no, it's not the same, it's similar. It's similar, but it's not the same. It's going to be different. So immediately her mind could go, okay, it can be different. So I said, okay, well, let me know when you need me. Fine. About half an hour later, she says, no, she thinks she needs me. So I said, well, do you want to come to me for a massage? Because we had booked a massage anyway. She goes, well, she's feeling like she can't drive. So I was like, maybe I must just come to you. So of course, I arrived there about half an hour later. And she's having surges, which we like to call hypnobirthing surges, which they were happening probably every 4 minutes. So I said, okay, well, I think things are happening, and I don't think it's going to be very long. I don't think it's going to be like 12-hour labor. She goes, oh, really? So I said, yeah. Anyway, she says, but she doesn't know what position the baby's lying in. So I thought, okay, let me try and help her to, move her pelvis, see if we can get baby in a better position. If baby's, well, then the surges went to like every 2.5 minutes. I said, I think we should go. So we arrived, we went to Genesis, and she was fully dilated. We started running the water, and at one point she was in the water and she was like, she just doesn't know if she can do this. I just knew that if I could give her something for courage, so I went and got her necklace, because I knew where it was, and I said to her, remember this. And she just took one look at it, and she looked at me, and there was just this acknowledgement of, wow, okay, there's a strength that I can draw on with all the women that were there.
Good. So that complete wow experience when she put on, or just looked at that necklace.
Yes.
What happens in that moment?
I think there's in NLP terms it's called, there's a shift that happens that we know that they're in alignment. But for her, it's almost a physical anchor for her to realize that she's not on her own, that she can do this, that she's got that courage within her.
And with anchoring, of course, it's that thing that you attach meaning to something on the outside.
Exactly.
But as soon as you connect to that outside thing, it activates this process within.
Exactly.
Oh, that is so nice. I can remember the moment where I put on my birth necklace in my last birth. And it was like, yes, I'm doing this. And wow, I can't believe I'm here. And I know I can. And you feel it around your neck. And you know what each and every one of the stones and the symbols mean. So what do you put on a necklace?
What do you put on a necklace? Wow, we've had so many things. That's why I say it depends on how many people you have. So if you have a small blessing way, it's fine. But I've been at a blessing way where, there was 20 women. And if they're each putting on 3 beads, you walk around like that. So you can't really wear it. So I like it to be beads that you can touch and feel. And I've had people who put bells on, and people who've attached shells, and all sorts of things. It depends on the meaning that you are giving and, how we do the ceremony. Okay. So it can be made up of lots of things. But the more eye-catching and different it is, the better, and more touchy-feely it is, the better.
So we are doing all of these things. I can remember with the one baby shower, we hung feathers on the trees, and we had candles to celebrate the light of the baby that we're bringing into the world. We had gifts of vegetables, which was that very organic, earthy, but you accept the gift that you receive from the universe, and you've got to make this work, whether it's your favorite vegetable or not.
Exactly.
So that there were so many different things, and one person commented and said, is all of this stuff necessary? Do you really need to create all of these visual and tactile things, and why?
We need it because we need to create meaning.
Okay.
Because I think because of it's wonderful, like the technology we have to record this is amazing, but we are losing contact with meaning. And I feel like a lot of my clients, probably the majority of clients, is they want a meaningful pregnancy.
Yeah.
They want a meaningful experience. They want a meaningful birth. They want to know that there is meaning.
So it comes from that desire from the parent that says,
Absolutely.
this is something special I'm going through,
Yes.
and I've got to do something to make it real, to honor that this is really happening.
Definitely.
If I don't do any of these things, what's the consequence?
I think the consequence could be that women might not feel as connected to their baby, as connected to their pregnancy. It might take them longer to connect with baby once baby's on the outside, because they're like, oh my word, there is really a person. Oh, I hadn't put that much thought into it.
So they haven't really allowed
Exactly.
that shift to take
Exactly.
place by not engaging in that process early enough.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I think that there's so much value in preparing properly. And I always say to couples who are preparing for a pregnancy or preparing for a birth, is that, did you buy your first car or your first house? I mean, yes, some people did. But when you're finding a caregiver, don't just choose your first one unless it feels really right.
Okay.
But find others. And when you're preparing, when you got married, did you just say, oh, I don't know what day we're going to do. Oh, we'll do it this day, and I don't know who's coming. And no, you planned it. What am I going to wear? What is everyone going to eat? How many people are there? Can we cater for everyone?
Yeah.
And you need to prepare for a birth and for a baby coming. That it doesn't matter if you have a cesarean section, even if it needs to be an elective cesarean because you've got placenta previa, or if because baby's breech or whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is, how is this child welcomed? Does this child feel welcomed?
I had two feelings there. The one, I don't know if you ever get it with your hypnobirthing as well. If I really have a clear picture of what I want to achieve, am I not setting myself up for failure? But on the other hand, it was that feeling, if the entire process is meaningful, there's less weight attached to having the perfect birth outcome.
Exactly. So it's so important to, set the intention of, this is what I would like, and you're setting the stage and you're doing all the preparation, but ultimately it's that child's birthday. It's not your birthday. Mom's had her birthday. It's the child's birthday.
You can plan the wedding, but it might still rain.
Well, exactly. It might still rain, and the catering might be late, and you can't plan for everything. Yeah. But it's the mindset that you want to come in with, that it doesn't matter what happens. The important thing is that when this child decides to come, and it is this child's birthday, that we welcome it with no matter what's gone on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking of some of the rituals. If I look back over my births, I had a ritual of, I had to make the baby's bedding. And with every stitch that you make, you are creating this thing that's going to keep the baby warm, and that's going to create a beautiful environment. My husband couldn't understand why I took all of this time to sew by hand, all these things.
Yes.
But I had to do it. It was my process and my commitment.
Absolutely.
What other crazy things have you heard mums do that's their unique ritual for creating meaning to their commitment?
Well, I mean, women all of a sudden decide that they want to knit, which is also a wonderful thing. So, making things with your hand, knitting. A few of the blessing way ceremonies, I've actually had people bring a piece of material, and then the mother makes a quilt. Yeah. So it's things like that you can do to, again, incorporate the community for the child. So it's like a necklace. It's the community gets involved.
So even something like keeping a diary.
Absolutely.
And tracking your thoughts and your wishes and your prayers would be a form of a ritual to connect you to.
Also, writing a letter to the child, like I said earlier when we were talking about the mom and the dad preparing, is to write a letter to the child of this is our commitment. This is what, and what's interesting is I've had people use what they wrote there in the baby's blessing. Once they're 6-9 months old, they're like, this is what we wrote when we were pregnant with you, and we're actually rereading it to you now when you are here. And it's almost like a recommitment, which is very beautiful.
You talked about it earlier, but I didn't reflect on it. There's something about that blessing way ceremony where all the powerful people in your family and in your friendship group is there to witness you going through transition. But they also reflect on your strength.
Yes.
and on your uniqueness that you can draw upon. Where does that ritual come from?
It's actually from the Navajo tradition, the American Indians. And they do it, I mean, they're very into rituals. And what happened is in the 1970s, two midwives decided that women needed more than just a baby shower, because a baby shower is lovely, and women, you know, people are so generous, and it's very beautiful to get things for the baby, but it's not only about the baby.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the baby's birthday and it's about preparing for the baby, but mom needs to be supported. So in the Kundalini yoga tradition, the 120 days is usually when you would bring gifts for the mother as well.
Oh, okay.
So that mom is like, this is how you can look after yourself, whether it's a gift voucher for a massage or some lovely creams or some lovely Epsom salts with some smellies in for the bath or whatever, so that mom can care for herself. So definitely bathing is also a ritual that we do. And women tend to love bathing in their pregnancy more than any other time.
Because you can see your hoop and touch it.
And baby likes to move around and beautiful.
Wow. And the dads? How do you involve the dad in this process? It sounds like there are a lot of rituals for the mum.
Yes.
What can one do to equally involve the dad?
You know, again, it depends on the couple. Some dads are like, you know what, I really want to be there on the day, but like, this is your thing. So I'll be there, but I don't want to be very involved. And then there's other dads that are like, I'm going to be right there with you. Like, and he doesn't move like 5 inches away from her, and he's like right there in her face, which is amazing. And everyone is equally wonderful. It depends on what the couple wants. So again, it depends on how, you know, how much dad wants to be involved and how much dad wants to participate. But it's really wonderful to get dads involved, to know how can they massage in labor? How can they, what are the things that they can say that will encourage her? And at what time can they say those things? So it's wonderful to be able to guide them so that they know on the day what they can do. That's for the birth, and obviously through the pregnancy as well. You know, when to feed her chocolate, and you know, when to just go, yes, dear, and give her chocolate and not argue with her because she's hormonal and irritable and all of that.
Okay. When you were talking about the showing of support to mothers, research into postnatal depression says that feeling a lack of support is one of the reasons why women sometimes do suffer.
Yes.
We also know that postnatal depression is related to women struggling to make that transition from everything I was and having lost a lot of what I was and not really knowing yet what I've gained. So that it's that difficult transition to make. So when a mother has a visual image of all the people that are there to love her and support her, it's also something that she can carry through after the birth.
And support is vital. And I say to people beforehand, set up your support system. Who's going to bring you meals for the first 2 weeks?
Yeah.
If you don't have friends that are going to bring meals, then make sure that you've got the freezer stocked, or you know, so that the practical side is taken care of, but also the emotional side, so that they do have that ongoing support. It's absolutely invaluable.
Okay. And as much as we celebrate life, we're kind of honoring the spirit, whether it stays and it lives with us for life, or whether it leaves. What rituals can a mother do in the case of a stillbirth or a loss?
I've found that it's very important that a mother gets to hold her baby.
Okay.
It's very important because you need to, it's part of the grieving. That baby, mom needs to be able to hold baby, take photos, you know, take a piece of hair and have that, so that she's got that to, not to hold on to, but to have a memory of while she's processing her grief and her loss. So it's so important to document it, if you put it that way, to document all of that. And then also, again, it's a process, like everything. You know, everything's a process. So it's about taking her time and at the appropriate time to do a process which I call a birth release, where we can actually go, okay, so this is what went on. This is what happened. These are the learnings that I've gained. And I can have some peace in my heart about it.
Okay.
I would like to offer each person that comes 10% off whatever service they come to. So whether they come to yoga or whether they come for a massage or a blessing way, I'd like to offer everyone 10% off.